Good afternoon and welcome to the January 2020. Wow, a whole new decade from when I started the channel. Layout update. I don't have a ton to update, so this is going to be a fairly short video, I think. Mostly what I've been working on is just doing sort of odds and ends on the scenery here. I've added some little static grass tufts to this sort of waste area. Eventually down here, I'm going to add like rusted out cars or barrels, or it's going to be just some sort of unloved industrial area related to the industry that is kind of like here off the layout that these box cars are delivered for. My next step is probably going to be to start heading this way with the scenery. As I've said before, I can't really do anything with the yard until I get the track and the switches, but the good news is I started my new job a couple of weeks ago, and A, I'm really enjoying it so far. Little personal update. And B, they are paying me significantly more than my last job, so I'm going to have a little bit more disposable income to hopefully get that yard finished, so I can work on the back half of the layout too. As you saw in the opening shot, I got decoders for my new GP7 that I bought before Christmas. 607, and I got a decoder for 3640, which is actually the second N-scale locomotive I ever bought. I'm still kicking myself. I had an option to buy the DCC fitted version for $10 more than the DC version, but not really knowing anything about DCC, well, modern DCC, my grandfather's layout, O-scale layout, was really my last run-in with DCC, and it was my impression from that you couldn't run DCC locomotives on DC. I later learned about dual mode decoders, so yeah, now I'm kicking myself about that one. But anyway, what else is new? I'm starting to put in the footpath here. That's just spread, trust me, I'll vacuum it. And it's going to be a little towpath for anyone who's ever spent any time along the Schuylkill River. There is a mostly uninterrupted foot and bicycle path that stretches from South Street in Philadelphia all the way out to Valley Forge. Yes, that Valley Forge, for those of you that remember your history classes. But yeah, my next step is probably going to be to get going this way, which means I kind of need to figure out what I'm going to do about the town down here. So we will see. In other news, as I mentioned before, it turns out those XL Systems decoders are garbage, so I'm working on replacing them. I have an NCE decoder in the mail for that to get 5301 back up and running, and hopefully sooner rather than later, I will get a decoder to get 3673 back out as well. That 3623 is going to be a tougher project. I have to get a new chassis for it. It's the new body shell that Atlas did, but it's actually running on an old Kato chassis. So that's apparently a real pain to fit DCC to, so I'm just going to get a completely new chassis for it. I need a TCS split decoder for GP7. I'll just open this case up here. 609 here. So that's something I'm going to buy fairly soon, as are decoders for my SD45, which is 7602, and 2716, although apparently fitting the decoder in those little Walthers SW, what is that, an SW1200, that's kind of a pain. So we'll see. I've got a DCC fitted switcher, so I'm not super in a hurry to get another one going here. Actually pretty happy with the way that this industrial area down here is coming together. I think the scenery for that, I think the rock ledge worked out pretty well, but I think the grass turf worked out really well long term when I'm done with the yard back here, which isn't going to be heavily scenic. There's going to be like a switch tower and a yard shed and stuff down there, but mostly it's going to be pretty plain. Once I get that done, I'm going to put in trees down here and install catenary poles, which I'm going to build out of styrene following Joe over at the Sayre Secondary. did his, and I really like the way they turned out. I think getting too much detail and end scale can be a problem, so there might not be 100% prototypically accurate, but they do a really good job of conveying I'm a catenary pole, and that's exactly what I'm going for. So I think I'm going to rip off what he did and install some along the main lines on my layout. Anyway, thanks for watching, and hopefully for the February update, I will have more done that I can show you. Bye for now. Thank you.